Ladies and gentlemen, we continue. Get ready for the 2021 NFL Draft. We're your hosts. My name is Matt Kelly, Mr. Big Almocious.
How you doing, everybody? Great, thanks for having me back on, Matt, and we're ready to roll. Um, it's been a great day today. Just starting with the Carolina Tar Heels beating Duke again. So what a great day, and just finishing up with our podcast for all you guys to see. It's entertaining, and we love doing it. So let's get right to it, Matt.
Yes, sir. Okay, so anybody who's paying attention last week, we started off our draft coverage with the top cornerbacks and safeties that are entering the draft. And now we're continuing week number 2 with linebackers, outside and inside, whoever you want. These are the top linebackers that we found to be top 5. We have an honorable mention this week, but these are the consensus guys, in my opinion. Um, so let's start it off with the honorable mention. That is Alabama's Dylan Moses. This is a guy who was probably going to be the top linebacker taken in the 2019 draft. 2019, maybe even last year, 2020 draft. But he was in the season for Alabama. He tore his ACL, broke a leg, something like that.
Yeah.
Had a lower body injury that finished out the season. Which ended his season. Sorry. And so he decided at that point, instead of trying to get healthy in time and, trying to impress scouts while injured, things like that, he decided to stay in Alabama, try and come back, prove it on the field that he's healthy, things like that. So he did, and now I believe he graduated, and he is now going to be in the 2021 NFL Draft. How do you feel about Dylan Moses?
Yeah, Matt, as you mentioned, about his injury, I think the injury aspect, being he had that major injury, and then a year or two before that, he also had another big injury that kept him out. So unfortunately, that guy, he's injury prone, but you know, when he was playing, Matt, he has pretty good height for a linebacker, and he can really playing in that, Bama style defense. He can really get after people. So he's a pretty good tackler in my opinion from what I saw of him.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's got like that hybrid size and speed that the NFL looks for in linebackers. Um, we've got a guy, I think, at the top of the list who is just as good, if not better, as far as size and speed goes. But um, Dylan Moses is definitely one of those linebackers who can be pretty good at the NFL level. So we'll see. I think he's probably a second round pick, maybe late second round, early third, something like that. I think he could be in that position. So hopefully he has a great career and stays healthy. Okay, so let's kick this off with our honorable 5 here. And let's start with Joseph Asai with the Texas Longhorns. Um, 25 tackles, I believe 5 sacks, three three interceptions, 3 forced fumbles. I forget which one, but pretty good career at Texas. He's 6'4", 253, so a big guy. I believe his 40 time was somewhere in the 4.7 range. So the big thing this year with COVID, of course, is that we are not able, which I believe they're saying would be happening right now, is the NFL Draft Combine. But we do
Yeah.
not have that this year. So any of these guys, like the bigger guys who try to improve their 40 times, we aren't able to see it right now. Um, so 4.7 could be an old report, but that's what I've got. How do you feel about Joseph Asai?
Yeah, Matt, playing in that type of conference, he's playing against high level people, and um, as you mentioned, the height, it's always good to have that height with a linebacker. I mean, I know some of the other guys lower in the draft are even bigger, but that's still big, 6'4". That's still big guy for play that position, and he has a high motor. Like when I watched him on film, he has definitely a high motor, and just he's there every play. So definitely a good thing coming out of Texas.
Yeah, definitely. You always have to think about that high-powered Oklahoma offense that I'm sure he's gone up against. So he's got that experience, playing against top-level offensive talent. So we'll see how he does in the pros. But here is our highlights section of the show. So here you go. Stay tuned for Joseph Asai.
Dave, do you remember when we kicked you out of the band for recommending the...
And of course, we've got ads for Joseph Asai's YouTube video, so I'm going to try my best to look at something else until we're there. But okay, here we go.
Need 6 or 7 to get within Alex Hale's field goal range. Sanders gets hit, the ball comes out. Taquan Graham scoops it up, and the big fella rumbles. He's still going. Taquan is to the 20. Joseph Osai knocked it out of there, and Taquan Graham returned it 32 yards to set Texas up. Texas brings pressure. Sanders in trouble. Osai tosses and gets him. The game. A fitting way for this one to come to a close. Joseph Osai has been a man on a mission all night, and he gets the game-sealing sack.
I have seen here on the sideline tonight, he's been spending some time with, there we go, look at that pick.
Picked off. Joseph Osai was batted down and into the hands of the sophomore.
They just brought the blitz from the boundary. Jalen Green, the long sophomore cornerback, 6'1", 185. The awareness, can't get to him, puts his hands up, makes something happen.
3rd and 10. Kemp goes down. Ball is out. Aminu picks it up.
Running on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Texas.
And the senior may have just iced it for Texas.
Here's Duggan. Oh, and he's hit from behind. Loose ball. Texas says they have it. And they do. Texas forcing a turnover.
2nd and 1. Huntley dances around. He gets drilled and taken down. What a game for Osai.
His miss earlier was wide left. And it's blocked. Joseph Osai, of course.
Behind him. Mordecai handing it to Pledger. Pledger looking for space. Picks up at first. TJ Pledger. Jitterbugger. Still on his feet and down inside the 20. But did he fumble it? Did he fumble it? And he did.
Going on the field is a fumble. Recovered by the defense. First down, Texas.
Texas recovers. Guess who it was down the field? Joseph Osai. We've been talking about him all game. Look at 46.
Burrow has it tapped down, intercepted. Joseph Osai has it, and Texas is set up right back on the doorstep.
That's a great effort up front by Texas.
assist in the defensive line.
You know, 3 years of being together here, you feel that confidence.
Hubbard cuts it back and loses a half a yard. Joseph Osai, who's the leading tackler for the second season in a row on this Texas defense. Leonard's a motion man, the tight end. Howard in trouble and sacked. Great pressure by that Texas defense. Joseph Osai leading the way.
Bulldogs trying to get on the board. The give and a quick tackle by Osai. He's been very active, was very good against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
Hoping that he's okay with his shoulder that he injured last week. There's a low snap picked up by Sanders. Scrambling, spinning, and going down at midfield. And it was Osai.
And so there he is, Joseph Osai. As you saw, he's actually all over the ball. Kind of a guy who can really, his awareness is sky high. So we'll see how that goes at the next level. All right, so next up, we're going to go with Notre Dame's, give me a second here, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Definitely a guy who is playing at like the top level with Notre Dame. Got some playoff experience there. We got him with 41 tackles, a sack and a half, with 3 interceptions and a forced fumble. This is a little bit smaller of a guy at 6'1", 215. He ran a 4.4, which explains, the size. Pretty quick, but a little small at the linebacker position. So, do you think the height and weight will, you think he'd be all right at the linebacker position? Could he move to safety at the next level? What do you think, Big Al?
Oh, well, Matt, I think he'll do just fine as sticking with the linebacker, whether he plays middle or outside, or how they call it, Sam and Mike linebacker, stuff like that. Whatever he's feeling more comfortable with, but that speed, man, I kind of see him as a younger version of Raquan Smith.
Okay.
Out of Georgia a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like he just moves side to side of the field. He can, so with that speed, proves it. Like he can run with anybody. He could probably even have a lot of, cover some tight ends and whatnot. So, yeah, I love this kid coming out of Notre Dame, and I think if he doesn't go, I think he will go in like the second round maybe. But if Tampa Bay at the last pick of the first round needs a linebacker, don't be surprised if he can be thrown in there.
Yeah, they've on that Tampa Bay idea, that was their like a pretty strong position for them. So it's not exactly a need, but to throw him in with those guys, that would be a great spot for him to learn under, Levante David, guys like that. I agree with your second round prediction there. I think actually these top 4 guys that we're talking about now are all potential first round picks. For this one in particular, I think if he makes the first round, it'll be late, like Tampa Bay, something like that. But yeah, I agree. So let's take a look. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
It's 8 points you leave on the table against a great team. Oh, on the toss, it's in the hands of Owusu-Koramoah, who will score! Touchdown! Bouncing off of ETN into the arms of Owusu-Koramoah for the second straight week. A running play to ETN turns into an opponent's touchdown.
One of my favorite players on this team, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He just seems to make the big plays.
The team to beat in the ACC, Mike.
Yeah, no kidding, Jack. Oh, my goodness, what a hit. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah got a running start at LaDamian Webb, who could not brace for that, and he rocked him for a big loss there on first down. Wow. Annapolis, number 12, being there in that safety spot with Crawford. Here's pressure and a sack. Owusu Koromoa comes in to get Bryce. He's good when you block him. When you don't block him, he's unstoppable.
Quarterback for the Sun Devils for a while. Anyone decided that he wanted to go in the transfer portal. He lost one up for grabs, and he's intercepted by Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa.
Good, a pocket passer. Has experience at third and long, not the best option for him. Out of that pocket, trying to make a man miss, took a huge hit by Owusu Koromoa. Did an Elway-like helicopter as he hit the ground, 5 shy of the first down. The Blue Devils. Irish bringing 6. Bryce got rid of it. Good catch. Jalen Calhoun, but he lost the football. And Notre Dame is on it. Injured Irish player as well after the hit. It's Kyle Hamilton, their terrific safety, grabbing at his left leg.
Because it been a long time coming for the veteran running back. Oh, Rogers in the flat is met immediately by Owusu Koromoa.
Great instincts by Owusu Koromoa. Sees the formation.
Passion for football reconnected. Culpepper, third down, throws complete for the first down. And out of the hands of the tight end, who took a big hit. Aaron Hackett was knocked down, knocked the ball out, and Notre Dame has come up with the recovery. Rice with 5 options underneath, incomplete. That one intended for his normal big target, Noah Gray, and Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa spelled that one cover.
Mike, he is a great football player. They call him Woo, but I call him Wow.
And also in the back 20.
Number 6, Owusu Koromoa made the big play, returning the Etienne fumble for a touchdown. Etienne in the flat. Not much there. In fact, he'll lose a couple of yards, and old Jeremiah introduced himself to him early here.
This campus. Chase Bryce taking over from the 25-yard line. Throws it out in the flat, and a good tackle by Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa.
Rhythm passing game.
38 Culpepper keeps and then flips to Nykeem Johnson on the edge. He's tracked down from behind by Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. It's senior day. One non-conference game. It'll be against South Florida here next Saturday. First down carry. And spinning and turning and running into Irish defenders is Deion Jackson, the captain. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. Yard line, first and goal. And on the give, Durant, who's seeing action on this series, is stopped. Run game last week. 10 rushes for 28 yards today. Culpepper fires off his back foot, incomplete. Orange sideline wanted a flag on the pass intended for Courtney Jackson.
All right, so there was Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. I think I got that down. Yeah, all right.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move on to the SEC. Okay, Nick Bolton, linebacker for Missouri. This one, you got, like I said, SEC. You got to think about the type of talent and the offenses that he's gone up against, like Alabama, LSU, Florida, Georgia, stuff like that. 53 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 feet, 232. So he's small but bulkier than Jeremiah, the last guy, and slower. 4.7 40 time. So this is more of like a fullback kind of. So I'm guessing you could put him right in the middle linebacker, stop the run as much as you can, because not exactly the best pass coverage linebacker, being shorter and slower. It's not something you really want on your slot receivers, but definitely I think a good something like a bowling ball that you can shove in between the A and B gap and try and get those inside runs. That would be perfect. What do you think of Nick Bolton, Big Al?
Yeah, another player that's playing high-end talent. That's why these guys are up there pretty high. And as you said, like I believe the best part of his game is just the ability to his vision and being able to tackle. The tackling is, as you'll probably see, is very good, and he might be able to cover some tight ends, like some of the slower
That's
tight
true.
ends, but because they still gotta be pretty quick to get to the quarterback and stuff. So I'm gonna give him some credit in the coverage, but definitely height does lack a little bit, and but he makes it up by tackling, so he's ready to play.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what we were talking about, and you just hit on it with the tackling. So, out of the top 6 guys that we're talking about today, he's got the most tackles, 53 tackles on the year, I guess. I don't know, all time, maybe he's not. But this past season, or the most recent playing time for these guys, he's got 53, which is tops of these 6 guys that we're talking about. So it's the perfect thing. You know, exactly what I said about the interior run defense and tackling what you just mentioned. The tight end thing, dude, most tight ends are going to be a lot taller than him. At 6'1", you know, you're getting, or 6 feet, you're getting probably 4 inches. Your tight end, average tight end's got to be what, 6'3", 6'4". So that's a decent height advantage for jump balls, which is a big thing for tight ends. So that's all I'll say about that. But what round do you think?
I'm gonna, even though he isn't a bigger schooled player, um, I'm gonna go 3rd round.
Okay.
Middle to late 3rd round. I think there's, some of the other higher end linebackers are gonna go first, and then I feel like teams are gonna look for more positions, receiver, corner, uh, guard, stuff like that. So he might drop a little bit. So I'm gonna say about the 3rd round.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I actually, some of the mocks I saw, they were talking about early 2nd. So this kind of puts him in the same spot with Jeremiah, where it could be, you know, a title contender late in the 1st, or, you know, a bad team early in the 2nd. So we'll see. You know, we'll see. All right, so let's take a look. Missouri linebacker Nick Bolton.
Staggered eye look on 2nd and 3. And again, the running game goes nowhere. In the backfield, who else? Nick Bolton, the tackling machine.
We'll see here Eric Douglas at center and Sadarius Hutcherson, a guy who's played a lot of football. They just get split right there.
They can stay in their same style of offense with a little up-tempo, but plenty of time to go.
Jefferson, quick hitter over the middle. Big hit, ball is loose. John David White got lit up by Nick Bolton.
Now it's Harris, and he's chopped down behind the line of scrimmage by the leader of that defense, Nick Bolton, junior linebacker out of Frisco, Texas, who led the SEC in tackles last year.
In the wingback position in the backfield. Brennan, play fake, they get it knocked down. They were trying to get it to Marshall.
Trask all year, the first Florida pick 6 since 2016, as Kadarius Toney, who has been quiet, was dropped for a loss by who else? Nick Bolton. They worked obviously against Ole Miss. They ran all over the Rebels. Go-to back here. The lead blocked by the fullback Prentice, but that time it's going to be Harris dropped for a loss. And when there's a loss on a play, 32 for Mizzou is usually in on the stop.
Here they come. Gatewood sacked. Nick Bolton. What a day he's had. White with the carry. Ball forward for a couple of yards. Comes some heat again. Daniels hit as he throws, incomplete. They were trying to go that way, shot to Pickens.
Missouri just can't match up with him. Pressure, and the ball was tipped as Brennan released it.
All right. So there was Nick Bolton, probably one of the top interior linebackers for this draft. So we'll see how high he gets taken in the coming weeks. We're like, what, 2 months? A little over 2 months? 1 month. 1 month away. I don't know.
Yeah.
Late April.
Late.
Okay, so let's move on here, and we've got, in my opinion, the number one linebacker in the draft is clear cut. So this next guy will be most likely the top 2 linebackers in this draft, and that is Zaven Collins from Tulsa. 36 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 interceptions. So Energizer Bunny all over the field there. Big guy though, 6'4", 260 pounds. Now that explains his 40 time because he runs a 4.8 40 time. So I think the slowest guy of the bunch that we're talking about, but definitely the biggest.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Zaven Collins? You got to think. Also, you got to think Tulsa. His talent, or the talent he faced, isn't as much as the SEC's. Anyways, what do you think?
Right. And that's actually where I was gonna go first with it, Matt. Was the fact that he's playing for Tulsa, like those stats definitely would contribute because he's he's playing against weaker talent. So I think there's numbers should even possibly be even higher. But he's got good height, like I said, for a linebacker at 6'4", and I think if he's 260 pounds, it sounds like he's a good run defender. He can get up there and help the defensive linemen and whatnot stop the run. So from what I see, he's a good run defender and good height for his position.
Okay. What I have him as a first round pick, but not the first linebacker. So where do you have him being taken? Not specifically, but what round?
Right. I'd say late second to early third.
Wow. Okay. I feel like I'm going to be surprised as to where you're going to have the next guy. But yeah, you haven't set a first round on any of these guys yet. So,
I said potentially Jeremiah, but
possibly. But that's your highest graded guy. So far. All right, so let's take a look. Zaven Collins from Tulsa. We have an ad first, so we're going to wait a second, and then we're just going to filibuster on some time. We've got 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds. So, yeah. Here comes Zaven Collins.
Pratt gonna throw. Pratt pressured. It is picked off by Zaven Collins. And the player we debuted at the beginning of the game is gonna end it for Tulsa in double overtime. You have got to be kidding me. Zaven Collins, Tulsa, double-digit comeback. Book it. The Golden Hurricane has blown in again.
Pressure shown from the near side. Johnson has it tipped, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Zaven Collins, and away he goes. Zaven Collins, a tremendous athlete, score.
He caused a fumble at the end of the first half to turn South Florida away. And then they get a little bit of momentum going here. And Zaven Collins got to be crazy if this guy's not on your All-American team.
Any other area. 3 awesome quarterbacks in Florida right now.
And don't forget the Seminoles beat Jacksonville State today, as there is another safety.
Wow.
Goodness, they did get it. Jackson player got in there, Zaven Collins. And so it's 16-2. We have 2 safeties in the ball game. Let's see, Anderson doubled back.
Job of faking the wide receiver screen to Wallace.
Sanders in trouble, and he spun down for a sack. Back at the 42-yard line by Zaven Collins.
Zaven Collins is a linebacker who puts a lot of pressure on. Look at that press coverage on the bottom.
I know you love seeing that. Oh my goodness, that thread through is intercepted. Picked off by Tulsa off the deflection, and the Golden Hurricane gets a pick for Zaven Collins. You were just talking about him. He is everywhere on film, and there is a flag down on the play. We'll check the marker.
Wallace doesn't have a catch yet. Play fake on 3rd down and 2. Bullock not very mobile, and it's the blitzing Zaven Collins for a sack, and it'll force 4th down.
Yeah, in that H-back spot, right near the 10-yard line. Johnson against pressure, right up into his face, and he swerves by it, put the ball on the deck, and Tulsa has it. Grant Sawyer flops on it, and the Golden Hurricane withstand again a short field. Rod, by the way, they did give the first down on the earlier play, so it is 1st and 15, and once again, Zaven Collins, looks like there are 3 of him.
Buechele intercepted. Zaven Collins seals it for Tulsa.
Still too early to pick out our favorite big fella in the game as Pratt get a fake, pulls it out, has time, sets his feet over the middle. Jaquan Jackson met immediately. And guess who? Zaven Collins.
They switched to the 3-3-5 defense. This is their 3rd season in it. They've been improving each year. It's a screen going nowhere. Except in reverse. Zaven Collins ripped down Chuba Hubbard.
And the triple overtime win last year, they completed 5 or 6 4th downs in a row at one point. Buechele under pressure, and it's Zaven Collins with the sack. There is, however, a flag.
Pratt, time, steps up in the pocket, and it closes immediately, and guess who? Zaven Collins there, and gonna force another punt for Tulane.
Against a 3-man rush. Screen pass, Carruthers erased.
Let's not set any records here because those are available. Thompson is in as the tailback, and he gets hit. Tulsa comes in with the most tackles for loss in the country, and they've done it in 1 game. There's another one.
And there we go. That was Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. And now we saved the best for last. The clear-cut top linebacker in this year's class. Just a warning? I don't know. Some little context in that opinion is we are Penn State fans, okay? So the number 1 linebacker in the draft, and rightfully so, I think across the country, they would say that Micah Parsons is the top linebacker to be drafted in the 2021 NFL draft. I'm going to start this off by saying that the reports are that there are some character issues. Out of the 3 years that he's been with Penn State, I've watched every game. And you don't hear much off-season stuff unless it's something huge from college football. But you don't hear a lot of the little stuff. But that he's got some criminal issues right now. I believe he has an open case against him on some extreme hazing, things like that. Maybe a fight somewhere in there, things like that. But you can't ignore that type of stuff. I think the NFL always looks at character concerns when it comes to like that, things like that. So some people are predicting that he falls from the top 10 because he was going into this year's class. All the talk and all that stuff was that he was a top 10 player in the draft. I personally think he still is, but there are a good amount of people saying he falls to the 20s is the highest that I've heard. I think the average is somewhere in the teens. So, but anyways, let's get past that part. I just wanted to start off with that. But you have a guy here, 52 tackles, 5 sacks, and 4 interceptions. 6'3", 244. So one of the bigger guys that we've been talking about, but also one of the fastest, with a 4.4 40 time. This is everything you want in a linebacker. I believe he plays interior, so he can play. You're talking about the production that you want from a linebacker with the size that you want and the speed that you want. He checks all of the boxes when it comes to playing linebacker in the NFL. From the interior spot to be going from sideline to sideline like he can, like we've seen, I'm sure you're going to see it in these highlights that we're going to play, is him just being able to run and catch down like any running back. Like, he's one of the biggest physical specimens at the linebacker position that we've seen in a good couple of years. You mentioned Roquan Smith earlier. That's a guy that he's been compared to, just on the speed level. But he's bigger than Roquan. You know what I mean? So I think that is the reason why he should be a top 10. I think we'd be talking, without these character problems, I think we would be hearing that he's a top 5 pick. I think he goes right in there after the quarterbacks and potential Heisman guy there in the wide receiver. So I'm a little scared to ask here. Big Al, what do you think of Micah, and where do you have him?
Matthew.
Oh, God.
Folks.
Oh, God.
Everyone listening.
Oh, God.
We are.
Yes! Penn
State. And we just love this guy. I mean, I don't know if you know a guy, Matthew, of the name of guy from the Eagles and maybe your Broncos for a year or so, Brian Dawkins.
Oh, yeah.
Name ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me compare Parsons to Brian Dawkins. Just the leader on the field, just his composure, his passion, his speed, his physical, everything we want out of a guy. You're gonna get it right here on defense. And like I said, he's the leader of that team, and he's he just brings the passion and just he's a great tackler, with that speed, just like Jeremiah. So this guy we're looking forward to, and I'm saying, Matt, you said after the quarterbacks and possible receivers, like either one of our two teams at 9 and 10 could take him. So,
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say he's first round, and at least two. If he falls, it might be 15 or less.
Okay.
Top 15.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you scared me there for a second. You scared me with the other guys being like, the closest guy that you have is late first round. So I was like, oh my gosh, where does he have Micah? Okay, so I'm glad you feel that way. I agree. He went
Brian
to
Dawkins of linebackers there.
Okay. He went to high school in Harrisburg, so he is about an hour away from us, less than, and went to Penn State, our favorite college football team, and so he's definitely a guy that I think we are rooting for at the Gamer Time Shows podcast. And I think he's going to do great, and I think he's going to be a high pick, and I don't think the character problems are going to continue. Hopefully not, obviously. So let's check out some highlights from Micah Parsons.
Parsons also on the field. They blitz White. He fumbles it. He gives it away. Do you believe that? Holy cow. Wow. Garrett Taylor off the fumble caused by Micah Parsons. Ridiculous.
State again shows blitz. Here they come. Plummer. He's going to go down again. Sack number 10. This time it's Micah Parsons.
Watch Parsons in the middle of the screen. He's one-on-one with the back. You try to cut me, I'm too athletic, hop over, and then the relentlessness.
They come with a blitz. Parsons caused the fumble. Penn State couldn't grab it, and Memphis recovers.
Able to run the football. We'll see if they can do it here. Dobbins running it off first down. And Dobbins lost it. Loose. Penn State has it. Lamont Wade. Number 11 as Dobbins comes in. There he is, and he just reaches with his right arm, knocks the ball loose, and then it's just a
Secondary players going out in the same play.
Absolutely. And now Micah Parsons getting in there and taking down Johnny Langan. Also helping out was Jason Owe, the redshirt freshman.
The backfield this time. They give it a different look on the reverse. Nobody home. That's the man, Micah Parsons. Said, I'll see you when I see you.
Falling. Low snap. Pickett. Hands to Davis, but immediate penetration by Micah Parsons, who led the team in tackles last year as a freshman.
Is back in at running back. They go to the pistol, and he's in trouble. Micah Parsons again drops it for a loss of about a half yard on the play.
Over here if you're Michigan. Patterson from the pocket. Flushed, chased down by Parsons. Is he playing fast tonight or what, Kirk?
That one good for 21. And a sophomore from Baltimore, Ibrahim. Rodney Smith, driven back by Parsons.
In high school. Oh boy, Micah Parsons.
There's a couple first downs, and they're going to have to throw the football some with Tanner Morgan.
Tanner Morgan's in trouble and sacked. Micah Parsons.
This is their third and final. Cards cut them out.
has made the plays they've needed here late.
First down at the Penn State 32. Justin Fields goes out of bounds.
A.J. Davis and Micah Parsons is having a tremendous game. 6 tackles in the first half. That's his second tackle for loss today.
Team that is trying to stay right in that playoff race.
On 3rd and 4, Fields running it, and he will not get the first down.
And so there we go. Micah Parsons, Penn State linebacker, top 10 pick. I'm calling it. Okay, so there you have it. Our draft coverage of the top linebackers for 2021. We are going to keep this train going. And next week, we are going to talk about the top defensive linemen of the 2021 NFL draft. Now, I think everybody knows, anybody who watches football knows that the defensive ends are much more valuable than the defensive tackles. Now, I don't know if we have an Aaron Donald in the draft class this year, but I know that there's the top defensive end, a first-round talent in this year's draft. So we'll see how many ends we have compared to tackles when we come up with our top 5 here. But just keep that in mind for next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for tuning in to our draft coverage. You can contact us at the Gamer Time Show's Twitter account. Oh gosh, I can't remember the email. GamerTimeShows@gmail.com, I think is what it is. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. So, Big Al?
Yeah, Matt, and thank you for clarifying about the defensive spots. I didn't know if it was defensive ends and tackles together, so I will do my research, and we'll have some exciting new things to talk about for you guys next week. So thanks for tuning in this week, and stay with us.
All right, everybody.
Peace.